Welcome to the Granny Square series. This video you can learn to make this lovely square to add to your blankets. It's using popcorns and puff stitches. So this is in the Moonstone in the Stonewash range, and for the demo I'm going to be using Stylecraft Special DK in Wisteria with a 4mm hook. So let's get started. To begin, I'm going to make a double magic circle and chain one. So for round one, we're going to make 4 popcorn stitches with a chain 3 space between each stitch. So we've already chained one, we're going to chain again, so that's a chain 2 to start, and we're going to make 4 US doubles, UK trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull the loop big, take your hook out, go into the first stitch you made. Take hold of the loop and pull that through. Pinch that tight and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to repeat. So we're going to make 4 stitches again. When you've made 4 stitches, pull the loop big, take your hook out, go into the first stitch, take hold of the loop and pull that through. Pinch tight, chain 3. So we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So you can press pause if you're making along, and I'll see you at the end of round 1. So if you've been making along, this is how your work should look. You'll have a chain 3. We're going to tighten the circle. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first popcorn stitch we made. And then slip stitch across to the chain 3 space and chain 1. And that's how your work should look at the end of round 1. For round 2, we're going to make a granny square round. So we've chained 1, we're going to chain 2 more, and then we're going to make 3 US doubles into that chain 3 space. So that's 1. They're UK trebles. So US doubles, UK trebles. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to hop across to the next chain 3 space, and we're going to make 3 stitches. Chain 1, and we're going to make 3 more stitches into that chain 3 space. US doubles, UK trebles, yeah. So we've now got 6 stitches in there, that's our corner. And we're going to hop across to the next chain 3 space. Make 3 stitches. chain 1 and 3 more stitches. We're going to hop across to the next chain 3 space, make 3 stitches. Chain 1 and 3 more stitches. And we're now back to the first corner. So we made that chain 3. You can use that as a stitch if you want. I'm not going to. I'm going to make 3 stitches into that corner to finish off. But like I say, if you want to use it as a stitch, you can just do 2 stitches. I'm going to make that 3rd stitch. And then chain, slip stitch into that chain 3 space. And that's how your work should look at the end of round 2. Round 3, we're going to chain 1. We should be in that chain space in the corner. So we're going to start with a puff stitch. We're going to pull that chain to the height of a US double, yarn over, go into the space, pull through, yarn over a second time, go into the space, pull through, yarn over a 3rd time, go into the space, pull through, yarn over, pull through all of your loops, and chain 1. And we're now going to make another puff stitch, same as before, 3 loops. So yarn over, go in, pull through. That's loop 1. Yarn over, go in, pull through. That's loop 2. Yarn over, go in, pull through. That's loop 3. Yarn over, pull through all those loops. Don't chain, just go straight in and make a US double. It's a UK treble. And then we're going to make another puff stitch. So yarn over, go in, pull through, yarn over, go in, pull through, yarn over, go in, pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops, chain 1. We're now going to make a US double into the space between the 2 groups of 3 from round 2. So US double, yeah, UK treble, chain 1, and you should be at the corner. So we're going to make a puff stitch. Oops, I've split the yarn there. Let me start again. So we're going to make a puff stitch. A US double. And then another puff stitch. Chain 1 and repeat. So we make a puff stitch, US double, puff stitch. We then chain 1, make a US double in between the 2 groups of stitches, and chain 1, and we're back to the next corner. So we're going to repeat all the way around till we get to the first corner. So if you're making along, you can press pause and I'll join you at the end of the round. So just to recap, the corners are puff stitch, double, US double, UK treble. So puff stitch, stitch, puff stitch, chain one, puff stitch, stitch, puff stitch, and then chain one, and we'll make a stitch in between and then back to the corner. Yeah, so I'll see you at the end of the round. So when we get back to the first corner, your work should look like this, and you've just made a stitch here and we've chained one. So we're now going to finish this first corner that we started in. We're going to make go into the corner from round 2, yeah? Make a puff stitch. And then a US double. Yeah, we're then going to slip stitch into the top of that first puff stitch that we made. And then slip stitch into the chain one space. So we're back in the corner and we're going to chain one. And that's how your work should look at the end of round 3. Round 4, so we should have chained one at the end of round 3. We're going to make a US single, UK double, and then chain 1, 2, 3. So that counts as our first stitch and our corner. We're then going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles. So this is the same stitch for the whole round. Yeah, so a second stitch. And we're now going to make 2 stitches across those puff stitches. So we're going to go into the top of this first puff stitch, but it's actually this US double. Yeah, and then into the second stitch. Well, it's the third stitch, isn't it, in that group? Make 2 stitches into the chain one space. Two stitches into the next chain one space. And then we're going to make 2 stitches across this first group of 3 stitches again. So we're going to go into the top of the first puff stitch. And then into the top of the second puff stitch. We're now at the corner. So we're going to make 2 stitches. Chain 2, and that's the end of our repeat. So we're back where we started here with the first stitch and chain 2. So we're going to repeat along the same, along this edge, the same as we did along this edge. So we're going to make 2 stitches into the corner. Two stitches across the top of these puff stitches. 1 and 2. 2 stitches into the chain one space. Two stitches into the next chain one space. Two stitches across the top of those 3 stitches. 1, oops, 2, and then we're going to make 2 stitches into the corner. and we're going to repeat. So chain 2 for the corner and then start again. So you can press pause if you're making along, and I'll see you back at the first corner. When you get back to your corner, yeah, we'll have just made those 2 stitches across the top of the puff stitches, and we're now going to make 1 stitch into that corner of round 3 just to finish off that first corner. Yeah, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain space to join, and that's the end of round 4 and the end of our square. You can check you have the right number of stitches. There's 12 across each edge. Yeah, 48 altogether, as with all the granny squares in this series. So I'll see you in the next video.